But Susanna, you have not only become a play at work enthusiast, but now are like the ringleader for it. This struck a chord in you and seems to have unlocked a whole new way of like thinking and problem solving as it relates to culture. And I would love to hear just how did that change your thinking, or what did that spark in you?
And one of the things that I like is deeply ingrained in me is I love it when everyone is having a great time. Like if we talk about like disc and driving forces, I think my secondary driving force is collaboration. And so I get my energy from seeing everybody else like engaging and having fun. And so the game session that we had at the Grow Retreat and then the game session that we had together, um, seeing everybody like open up and get excited and learn about things and like realizing there were team members that I didn't really know, that I didn't really understand super well. Um, and seeing how much understanding and like reliance on each other happened during that game session, I was like, well, we can't just have this stop. Like, we can't have Alex come in every month, but like, we can't just have this stop. This has to keep going. Role playing games can be such a big advantage to teams, whether they're virtual or in person, and how a role playing game can have such a big impact on helping people understand each other because suddenly you're forced to think in a way that you don't normally think in, that maybe somebody else in your team does. And then you're like, oh, I get it now. From there, I just kind of leaned into my Lord of the Rings nerdiness, and I don't think I even told anybody that I was working on it until I had, like, at least a fully fleshed out concept because I was like, "If I don't present this to Stephanie just the right way, this might not go over very well." And so I ended up actually, I think, talking to one of my other teammates, Chrissy, about it before I ever talked to Stephanie about it because I wanted some feedback and I wanted to be like, "Okay, I think this is a really cool idea. Am I crazy?" And she was like, "No, this is really fun." And so it just kind of spiraled from there.
Collaboration is what makes you thrive. That's the condition that you seek to create, and where you know that it activates the best of you. And that gets to that concept of bringing your whole self to work. And I think this has been one of those phrases that has gotten tangled up in a lot of other conversations, and some people roll their eyes. But what it really means, at least to me, is we all have a very unique perspective. We all have a set of strengths that nobody else has, because it's a product of everything in our past, where we grew up and what we studied and who we socialize with and what work experience we've had and what hobbies we had. All of these things all form who we are. And it's about activating the best part of you and making sure that the people that you work with know and appreciate those things, and that your roles and responsibilities are shaped so that you can bring that to the team.
If we think about work and who we are, the idea that we are separated from our work, the idea that we're one person at work and we're one person at home, that idea is a very, very modern idea. Prior to that, your work was who you were. You weren't just, oh, I'm a carpenter at work and then at home I'm someone else. Like, no, you were the carpenter. And it not only helps with the team because I've been able to see different ways that we have started interacting with each other, and I have team members who are coming to me for things, and I have team members that I'm able to go to for things. Um, but like the interactions have just become so much more deep, and people seem to be enjoying work a lot more because it doesn't feel like a drag myself to my desk and do something for hours. It's no, this is a part of me. This is a part of who I am. I get to express myself here. And I think that's really important at work because when you unlock that in people, you end up seeing things where you create something really cool that maybe wasn't there before. So, for example, one of the other things that came about because of this that I didn't even think about until just now is one of my coworkers that I got to know mostly because of this game. Her and I ended up on this brainstorming session and created this whole new marketing thing that was so fun to create and has actually gone like really far, and it's done a lot for the brand. And that only happened because we started being able to bring our whole self to work and recognize that work is not just a separated thing from who we are. We have to enjoy every part of our life, and that includes work.
If you feel like you can be fully yourself and that you're appreciated for all of the things that all of your experience and your unique skills, you're going to be happier at work. You're going to be more motivated. You're going to be more proactive. You're going to have a higher performance. So, yes, it's a nice and great thing to do, but it's also really savvy from a business perspective to think about how can I create conditions so people can be most successful. And I think that's not something that a lot of people in management leadership positions see as part of their role, but I see it is really essential. You're creating the culture and the conditions that people work in. What are little things you can do, big things you can do to activate the best of them, allow that to happen, to make sure you're not stifling some of that potential.
Related to that, that comes to mind is thinking about there's lots of different people on the team, and so there's lots of different ways of interacting with the game. When you are working with other people, whether you are in management or not, everybody is going to interact in a different way. And so you might have one big like project or something that you're working on, like the game, that everyone's going to approach differently, and you have to make space for them to approach it in their way. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You have to make space for people to be themselves when it comes to
Mhm.
things like play.
Play is actually a really good way to start realizing that is you don't want everybody showing up and engaging in exactly the same way. Because one, that way is not going to be a natural fit for a lot of people. And then two, you're missing out on all of the different, nuances in how people think and the strengths that they bring. And I think that's a really important point you made.
Because of the way that the game is built, they're having to think about not just what do I bring to the table, but what can I rely on my team for? What can I rely on everyone else for? So one of the mechanics that I built into the game as a team building exercise was things like, we have different people who are different races. We have a fae, we have a fairy, we have humans, we have a futuristic human. So, like, we have different people who inherently are different. And so, when it comes to, say, solving a riddle, or speaking a secret passphrase, or interacting with technology, there are certain characters that simply cannot. A fairy does not know how to run a submarine. I'm sorry, but she does not. But the techno wizard might. And so one of the things that they people have mentioned to me that they've found really cool is in the game, you have to think, okay, we have this problem. I clearly do like my fairy can't fix this technology problem. Who on the team can? Who has that power? Who has that ability? And that has carried over into workplace problems where somebody's like, I have no idea how to fix this. Who on the team does? And so it's become this thing that started inside of the game where people not only thought of what I bring to the table individually, but also how can we work better together as a team? How do I see someone else's special talent that could be applied over here?
That mindset of interdependence of like you as an individual don't have to do everything. You just have to know who can do all of these different things and have that type of relationship where if you ask them for something, they're going to do it because they're bought into your shared goals. They're bought into you. They know that you're going to reciprocate when they need something, and that interdependence is something that doesn't just happen. You have to cultivate that over time.
A lot of people, me included prior to this, think that companies are very stagnant, and there's, you've got your base level entry employees, and then you've got your managers, and then you've got the managers of the managers, and then you've got the C-suite people, and you have to step one to the other, to the other, to the other, and like it's all very well defined, and you don't step out of your bounds. Like, don't you dare. And this whole experience and accidentally stepping into management has kind of showed me that companies are a lot more flexible than that. particularly small businesses. There's a lot of room for change and growth in the right kind of company. Um, and the companies that stay in that one step after the other kind of place, I don't know that they're still really hanging around very much.
It's a matter of resilience. I mean,
Yeah.
adaptability is critical for long-term success and sustainability. And, a company is made up of people. And so if the people can't pivot, if the people can't modify things, well, then the company can't either. So you can't separate them. Well, this has been really fun talking with you. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective, and congratulations on this amazing, successful game and impact you've had on the company.
It's really made work so much more enjoyable for me because I get to there's so much more depth to engagement with other team members at work now. So it's awesome.